Every person you admire today, every leader, every creator, every high achiever didn't get there by luck. They built habits that shaped their mind, sharpened their focus, and guided their daily choices. Success isn't about working non-stop or being born with talent. It's about training yourself to think differently, to act with intention, and to keep moving forward even when it's uncomfortable. If you've ever wondered what separates people who talk about success from those who actually live it, this audiobook will show you exactly that. In this journey, you'll discover the 10 daily habits shared by the world's most successful people, simple yet powerful routines that change how you think, how you manage your time, how you respond to setbacks, and how you grow. You'll see how discipline, clarity, and resilience can turn ordinary days into stepping stones toward extraordinary progress. These are not theories or distant ideals. They are actions you can start today, no matter where you are in life. As you listen, you'll begin to see success not as something you chase, but as something you build, one decision at a time. Each chapter will open a new way of thinking, how to take control of your habits, manage your energy, focus on what matters, and stay consistent when motivation fades. You'll feel a spark of possibility as you realize that success isn't out of reach. It's built quietly through what you do every single day. So if you're ready to take control of your mind, upgrade your habits, and reshape your future, stay with me. By the end of this audiobook, you won't just understand the habits of successful people, you'll begin to live them. This is where your transformation starts. Chapter 1. Build a clear vision and take focused daily action. Everything begins in the mind. Every great invention, every successful person, every extraordinary life started first as a simple vision. The difference between those who drift through life and those who shape it lies in the power of clarity and consistent action. Success is not an accident. It's the result of knowing exactly what you want and showing up each day to move toward it. Without a clear vision, even the most talented individual gets lost in distraction. With one, even the most ordinary person can rise beyond limitation. Building a clear vision is not about dreaming vaguely or hoping for luck. It is about defining with precision what you want your life to stand for. It is about deciding the direction of your days before life decides it for you. When you know your destination, you stop wasting energy on paths that lead nowhere. Clarity eliminates confusion. It filters distractions, it sharpens the mind, and it gives purpose to the smallest action you take. Success begins when you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. Many people spend their lives reacting to problems, to demands, to what others expect of them. They move from one task to another without asking whether those tasks align with their deeper purpose. Their time is consumed by the urgent rather than the important. Years pass and they wonder why they feel unfulfilled. The truth is, without a clear vision, even hard work becomes aimless. You can climb the ladder every day and still realize it was leaning against the wrong wall. A vision is a mental picture of the life you are building. It gives you a reason to rise early and a compass to guide you when the path becomes unclear. When you wake each morning knowing what matters, you no longer chase every opportunity, you choose the right ones. You stop being busy and start being effective. The greatest leaders, thinkers, and creators all had an image of their ideal future long before it materialized. They held that vision so firmly in their minds that it began to shape their thoughts, actions, and habits. But a vision alone is not enough. Many people have dreams, but very few turn them into reality. The difference lies in daily action. Action is the bridge between what you imagine and what you achieve. Every vision must be supported by focused, consistent effort. A vision without action is a wish. Action without vision is chaos. The two together form the foundation of all success. To build a clear vision, begin by asking yourself fundamental questions. What do I truly want? What kind of person do I want to become? What impact do I want to leave? Your vision must reflect your values, not society's noise. It should not be built around comparison or fear, but around authenticity. You cannot borrow someone else's dream and expect it to satisfy you. Your vision must come from within, from your highest sense of purpose. Once you define your vision, write it down. Words give structure to thought. A written vision transforms an idea into a plan. Describe what your ideal day looks like, what work you do, how you feel, how you contribute, and what kind of relationships you nurture. Make it vivid. The clearer the picture, the stronger your motivation will become. The mind cannot pursue what it cannot see. When your vision is detailed, your focus sharpens naturally. Clarity also comes from simplicity. The more complex your vision, the harder it becomes to execute. Focus on the essence. Choose what matters most. If everything is a priority, nothing is. Successful people think in terms of essentials. They identify what brings the most value and direct their energy there. They understand that clarity is not about doing more, but doing what truly matters with greater intention. After defining your vision, the next step is transformation through action. This is where most people falter. They wait for motivation, inspiration, or the perfect time. But success is built on discipline, not emotion. You cannot wait for the mood to be right. You must move, even when you don't feel like it. Consistency is the invisible force that turns dreams into results. Every small step compounds over time into extraordinary progress. To take focused daily action, break your vision into small, achievable tasks. Big goals can feel intimidating, but when divided into steps, they become manageable. If your vision is to become financially free, start by learning about money management today. If you want to get healthier, take a 20-minute walk now. If you want to write a book, commit to 1 page daily. The key is progress, not perfection. Tiny steps, taken consistently, build momentum. Every morning, remind yourself of your vision, review your goals. Choose 3 key actions that align directly with that vision and make them your priority for the day. When you do this, you stop scattering your attention. You move from random activity to intentional execution. You become proactive, not reactive. The habit of daily focus is what separates those who make progress from those who stay busy without direction. Discipline your mind to ignore distractions. In a world full of noise, focus is a superpower. Every notification, every unnecessary conversation, every piece of meaningless entertainment pulls you away from your purpose. You must protect your attention like your most valuable asset, because it is. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Each time you choose focus over distraction, you strengthen your ability to create. Taking focused daily action also means learning to embrace monotony. Success is not always glamorous. The path is often repetitive, quiet, and slow. But those who succeed understand that excellence is built through repetition. They show up even when progress feels invisible. They know that every deliberate action, no matter how small, moves them closer to their vision. The seed takes time to grow, but those who keep watering it eventually see the harvest. A clear vision also requires flexibility. Life will not move in a straight line. Obstacles will appear. Plans will change. But a strong vision allows you to adapt without losing direction. You may change methods, but not purpose. You may take a different road, but the destination remains. Resilience in pursuit of vision is what keeps you moving when others give up. It's also essential to track your progress. What gets measured gets improved. Every evening, reflect on your day. Ask yourself, did my actions today move me closer to my vision? Where did I waste time or energy? What can I do better tomorrow? This habit of reflection turns daily living into continuous growth. Over time, you become not only more productive, but more self-aware. Success is not the result of grand gestures, but of accumulated discipline. Each day is a brick in the structure of your future. The clearer your vision and the more focused your actions, the stronger that structure becomes. When you realize that every choice either supports or sabotages your future, you begin to act with greater awareness. You stop treating time as something to spend and start treating it as something to invest. True clarity also demands courage. To commit to a vision means to say no to distractions, to comfort, to paths that do not align. Many people avoid clarity because it forces them to confront what they've been avoiding. It demands accountability. When you know exactly what you want, excuses lose power. Clarity makes you responsible for your choices, and that responsibility is what builds character. If you want to transform your life, begin by transforming your focus. Replace vague wishes with clear intentions. Instead of saying, "I want to be successful," define what success looks like for you. Is it freedom, impact, peace of mind? Then align every decision with that definition. When your vision becomes specific, your path becomes visible. The mind loves direction. Give it one, and it will organize itself to pursue it. To strengthen your focus, remove mental clutter, simplify your environment, eliminate activities that don't serve your purpose. Successful people live with intentionality. They declutter not only their space but their minds. They prioritize what matters and release what doesn't. Simplicity creates room for excellence. The power of a clear vision also lies in emotion. Your vision must ignite something within you. It must be emotionally charged, not mechanical. When your vision carries passion, it fuels persistence. Logical goals may fail when life gets difficult, but emotional visions endure. That's why your vision should reflect what deeply matters to you, what you're willing to work for, sacrifice for, and protect. When you act in alignment with your vision, your confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself. Each completed task reinforces the belief that you are capable. That belief becomes momentum. Momentum becomes transformation. Transformation becomes success. And it all begins with clarity and focused action. Imagine your life 1 year from now if you applied this principle daily. Imagine the progress, the habits, the peace of mind that would come from knowing you lived each day with purpose. Most people underestimate what they can achieve in a year of disciplined action because they never commit to consistency. But 1 year of focus can change the entire direction of your life. The discipline of vision-driven living is not about perfection, it's about alignment. It's about ensuring that your actions mirror your priorities. It's about showing up even when no one notices. It's about doing the right thing even when it's difficult. The reward is not only success but integrity, the deep satisfaction of living a life true to your purpose. You are the architect of your destiny. Each thought you allow, each decision you make, each action you take is a building block of your future. The clearer your blueprint, the stronger your creation. Life will test you, but clarity and focus give you the power to stand firm. When you know who you are and where you are going, you no longer drift, you direct. So begin today. Sit in silence and visualize the life you desire in exact detail. Feel the energy of that life as if it already exists. Then write it down. Break it into small, daily steps. Commit to those steps with unwavering focus. Protect your time. Track your progress. Adjust when necessary. But never abandon your vision. Every great success begins with a single, clear decision to live with purpose. You are capable of more than you realize. But potential without direction fades. When your energy is focused on a well-defined vision and channeled through daily, consistent action, it becomes unstoppable. This is how ordinary individuals create extraordinary results, not by chance, but by clarity and discipline. Remember this truth. Vision gives meaning to effort, and effort gives life to vision. One without the other is incomplete. Together, They form the foundation of all lasting achievement. Build your vision with care. Guard it with focus. Feed it with daily action. Over time, what once existed only in your mind will stand before you as reality. The life you dream of is not waiting in the future. It's being built in the present through every choice, every habit, every action you take. Clarity transforms time into progress, and daily focus turns vision into destiny. The question is not whether you can achieve it, but whether you will begin today with purpose in your heart and discipline in your steps. Because success is not found in the distance, it is created in the daily rhythm of focused action, guided by a clear and unwavering vision. Chapter 2. Cultivate discipline to follow routines that boost results daily. Discipline is the quiet force behind every great accomplishment. It is the difference between intention and execution, between potential and results. Talent can open doors, but only discipline keeps them open. Without it, even the clearest vision fades into unfulfilled promise. Discipline is not about punishment or strictness. It is about mastery, the ability to guide your actions, your time, and your emotions toward what truly matters. Every person dreams of success, but few are willing to live the kind of structured life that success demands. Discipline is not glamorous. It rarely feels exciting. Yet it is the steady rhythm that turns effort into excellence. The disciplined individual does not wait for the perfect moment to act. They create progress through routine. They understand that freedom is not the absence of structure, it is the reward of living with intentional order. The foundation of discipline is commitment. It begins with a decision to do what must be done, not just what feels easy. When you decide that your goals are non-negotiable, discipline becomes natural. You no longer debate whether to work, you simply do it. You stop fighting with yourself and start cooperating with your purpose. That inner agreement, the one that says, "I will follow through no matter how I feel," is what strengthens your will. Routines are the practical form of discipline. They turn ambition into consistent motion. A routine is not a cage, but a framework that supports your focus. When your days are organized around purposeful habits, you eliminate chaos and indecision. You wake up knowing what to do, and that clarity conserves your energy for what truly counts. Successful people rely on routines because they remove the burden of choice. Each decision you automate saves mental strength for bigger challenges. To build discipline, start with structure. Decide when you will rise, when you will work, when you will rest, and what habits define your day. The mind thrives on consistency. When your actions follow predictable patterns, you build stability. That stability becomes confidence. Over time, these patterns create momentum, an invisible current that makes it easier to keep going than to stop. Discipline also requires self-respect. You cannot follow through on promises to yourself if you do not value your own word. Each time you commit and deliver, you reinforce trust in your abilities. Each time you break a promise to yourself, that trust weakens. Think of discipline as a form of self-loyalty. You are not doing it for anyone else. You are doing it because your future depends on your reliability. When you learn to depend on your own consistency, your confidence deepens. Small, consistent routines have more power than sporadic bursts of effort. Many people wait for motivation to strike, but motivation is unstable. It rises and falls with emotion. Discipline, however, does not rely on how you feel. It relies on your decision. When you act out of discipline, you are no longer controlled by moods or circumstances. You move forward whether it rains or shines. You do the work whether inspiration is present or not. That is where progress lives, in the quiet repetition of the right actions, day after day. Start with small, achievable habits. Wake up at a consistent time. Exercise briefly. Review your goals each morning. Plan your top priorities before your day begins. Reflect before bed. These simple actions create a rhythm that anchors your life. Once these become automatic, you can build upon them. Discipline grows the same way a muscle does, through repetition and resistance. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. Many people resist routine because they associate it with boredom. But true discipline does not confine it, amplifies. When your essential tasks are handled with structure, your mind is freed to think creatively and live meaningfully. Chaos drains energy, order releases it. When you know what must be done, you stop wasting time deciding and start investing time creating. Discipline also demands boundaries. You cannot build focus in an environment that constantly pulls you away from it. Guard your attention. Set limits on distractions. Keep your workspace clean. Protect the first and last hour of your day from noise and screens. The disciplined person does not rely on willpower alone. They design their surroundings to support their goals. It is easier to stay consistent when your environment encourages productivity. Routines are most powerful when they are connected to purpose. It is not enough to wake early or exercise daily if you do not know why you do it. Every habit should serve your long-term vision. When your routines are fueled by meaning, discipline becomes devotion. You no longer feel forced, you feel aligned. Purpose transforms repetition into fulfillment. Still, there will be days when discipline feels heavy. Fatigue, doubt, or distraction may tempt you to delay. In those moments, remember that discipline is not about perfection, it is about persistence. Missing one day does not erase progress, but allowing excuses to multiply does. When you fall, get back quickly. Renewal of effort is the real mark of strength. The disciplined mind forgives but never quits. The power of daily routines lies in accumulation. Each disciplined action may seem small, but over time, their combined effect reshapes your life. 10 minutes of reading each day becomes deep knowledge in a year. 30 minutes of focused work becomes mastery in a decade. Small consistency always outweighs occasional intensity. The disciplined person understands this and thinks long-term. They trade short comfort for lasting growth. To cultivate discipline, learn to manage your impulses. The undisciplined mind seeks immediate pleasure. The disciplined mind values future reward. Each time you delay gratification, you train your brain to choose strength over ease. This is how willpower grows. Every no to distraction is a yes to progress. Discipline is not about denying joy, it is about creating the conditions for deeper satisfaction. Accountability strengthens discipline. Share your commitments with someone who supports your growth, or track your habits in writing. When you record your actions, you turn effort into data, and data creates awareness. Awareness fuels improvement. This simple practice can multiply your consistency because it transforms vague intentions into measurable progress. Morning routines set the tone for the entire day. When you start with order, focus, and clarity, you carry that energy into everything else. The first hour after waking is sacred. It determines the direction of your mind. Use it wisely, avoid chaos. Move your body. Review your goals. Do one meaningful task before the world's noise enters your day. This small act of structure builds a foundation for composure and productivity. Equally important is an evening routine. End your day with reflection, gratitude, and rest. Discipline includes knowing when to stop. Rest is not laziness, it is preparation. A well-rested mind makes better decisions and maintains consistency longer. The disciplined person respects recovery because they understand that progress depends on balance. Discipline thrives on self-awareness. You must know your triggers, weaknesses, and patterns. Notice when you procrastinate and why. Observe the thoughts that convince you to quit. Awareness exposes the roots of inconsistency, allowing you to correct them. Without awareness, discipline becomes blind repetition. With it, discipline becomes wisdom in motion. Patience is another form of discipline. Success rarely arrives on your timeline. The disciplined person endures the waiting period without losing faith. They understand that time is an ally when used with consistency. Impatience seeks shortcuts. Discipline builds foundations. Every result worth achieving requires time to mature. When you trust the process, you remain steady even when progress feels invisible. There will be resistance. Some days, your mind will fight the routine. You will feel tired, uninspired, or tempted by ease. But discipline grows precisely through these moments. Each time you overcome resistance, you reinforce strength. The mind learns that you are in charge, not your feelings. This internal mastery is the essence of personal power. Ultimately, discipline is a form of love. Love for your future self, love for your purpose, love for what you could become. It is the act of choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term relief. It is waking up each day and deciding to honor your potential through consistent effort. You may not see the results immediately, but every disciplined act plants a seed that will one day bear fruit. When you cultivate discipline and follow routines that align with your purpose, your days begin to flow with precision and calm. You no longer waste energy deciding what to do, you simply do what works. You move with quiet confidence, knowing that each habit strengthens your foundation. Over time, discipline transforms from something you practice into something you are. True discipline is freedom. It frees you from regret, from wasted time, from chaos. It gives you control over your life and clarity over your direction. When you master routine, you master progress. Every sunrise becomes an opportunity to prove your commitment to growth, and each sunset becomes evidence that you lived the day with integrity. Those who cultivate discipline are not superhuman. They are simply consistent. They understand that success is built in ordinary hours through deliberate repetition. They know that greatness does not come from rare moments of brilliance, but from the daily choice to act with purpose. Discipline is the silent builder of every extraordinary life. It is the force that turns goals into habits, habits into character, and character into destiny. Chapter 3. Prioritize health, sleep, and energy to sustain peak performance. True success is impossible without health. The body is the foundation that carries every dream, every plan, and every goal. When your energy fades, your focus weakens, your motivation declines, and even the strongest vision becomes distant. To sustain peak performance, you must treat your health as a priority, not an afterthought. Your mind cannot operate at its best in a tired or neglected body. Energy is not a luxury, it is the fuel that drives achievement. Without it, even the most disciplined person struggles to stay consistent. Health is more than the absence of illness, it is the presence of balance. It means having the strength to meet challenges, the clarity to make wise decisions, and the calmness to remain composed under pressure. People often sacrifice health in the pursuit of success, believing they can rest later, eat better later, or slow down when they have time. But this mindset is a trap. The truth is, without strong health, your ability to perform at your best diminishes long before success arrives. Sustainable achievement requires vitality. It requires you to care for your body as diligently as you care for your goals. The first pillar of health is rest. Sleep is not wasted time, it is essential maintenance. During sleep, your brain organizes information, repairs tissue, and restores hormones that regulate focus, emotion, and motivation. Yet, in a culture that glorifies busyness, rest is often undervalued. Many people stay up late, trying to squeeze more hours out of the day, but they sacrifice the very clarity and productivity that sleep provides. A well-rested mind works faster, makes better choices, and recovers more quickly from stress. Sleep is not the enemy of progress, it is its silent partner. To perform at your highest level, you must protect your sleep as fiercely as your work schedule. Create a routine that signals your body to wind down. Dim the lights, silence devices, and disconnect from screens at least an hour before bed. Keep your room cool, quiet, and dark. Go to sleep and wake up at consistent times, even on weekends. Your body thrives on rhythm. When you train it to expect rest at the same time each day, you improve the quality of your sleep naturally. 8 hours may seem like a luxury, but it is an investment that multiplies your effectiveness in every other area of life. Nutrition is another cornerstone of sustained performance. What you eat directly affects your energy, focus, and emotional balance. Food is information. It tells your body how to function. Processed foods, excess sugar, and overeating create inflammation and fatigue, while whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy fats enhance clarity and stamina. Energy is not found in caffeine or quick snacks. It is built from consistent nourishment. Eat mindfully, not mechanically. Pay attention to how certain foods make you feel. Your body communicates through signals of alertness, calmness, or sluggishness. Listen to it. The disciplined mind treats nutrition as fuel for excellence, not comfort for emotions. When you eat with awareness, you stop using food to escape stress and start using it to sustain performance. Hydration is equally vital. Even mild dehydration can cause irritability and poor concentration. Begin your day with water, not caffeine. Keep it within reach as you work. The simplest habits often have the greatest impact when done consistently. Movement is another form of self-respect. Exercise sharpens focus, improves mood, and strengthens resilience. It does not have to be extreme. What matters is consistency. A morning walk, stretching routine, or short workout can awaken the body and clear the mind. Physical activity releases endorphins, natural chemicals that elevate your mood and reduce stress. It also strengthens the discipline you bring to every other area of life. When you move daily, you remind yourself that your body is a tool for progress, not an obstacle. Peak performance depends on managing energy, not just time. You can plan every minute perfectly, but if your energy is low, your productivity will still collapse. Energy management is about knowing when to push and when to rest, when to focus intensely and when to recharge. Your performance follows a natural rhythm, periods of high energy followed by dips. Learn your patterns. Use your high energy hours for creative or strategic work. Use lower energy times for routine tasks. This alignment between energy and effort makes your work more efficient and sustainable. Mental health plays an equal role in performance. Stress, when unmanaged, drains energy faster than any physical task. The mind, when cluttered, cannot produce its best work. To maintain mental clarity, practice stillness daily. Take moments of silence, deep breathing, or reflection. Protect your peace as fiercely as your productivity. Learn to step away before burnout begins. It is not weakness to rest, it is wisdom to preserve your focus for the long journey ahead. Success requires emotional stability, not constant intensity. The most effective people know how to reset quickly. They understand that recovery is not an interruption. It is a continuation of progress. You cannot sprint forever. You must learn to pace yourself. The disciplined balance between effort and restoration is what separates temporary success from lasting greatness. Your environment also affects your energy. Cluttered spaces create mental fatigue. Bright screens late at night confuse your sleep rhythm. Negative people drain emotional energy. Organize your surroundings to support calm and focus. Surround yourself with people who uplift your energy, not deplete it. Design your life to make healthy choices easy and destructive ones difficult. The body and mind adapt to the conditions you place them in. Create an environment that invites balance. Breathing is the most underrated source of renewal. Shallow, rushed breathing keeps your body in a state of stress. Deep, steady breathing resets your nervous system, lowers anxiety, and restores focus. Take pauses throughout your day to breathe deeply and slow down your pace. These small resets create calm within the busyness. Sustaining high performance also requires emotional regulation. Frustration, anger, or anxiety consume mental energy. Learning to pause before reacting preserves your power. The goal is not to eliminate emotion, but to master it. Emotional discipline is part of health. It allows you to move through challenges without losing balance. When your mind is calm, your decisions become clear. Technology is another modern threat to energy. Constant notifications, messages, and digital noise keep your mind in a state of alertness. This drains focus even when you are not actively working. Create digital boundaries. Designate times to check emails and messages and silence notifications during deep work or rest. Your attention is a limited resource. Protect it from unnecessary interruption. Health is also connected to gratitude. When you appreciate your body, you take better care of it. Gratitude reduces stress hormones and increases optimism. Each morning, acknowledge something you are thankful for: your breath, your strength, your ability to begin again. This simple act shifts your state from survival to abundance, restoring emotional energy that stress depletes. Peak performance is not about pushing yourself endlessly. It is about creating harmony between body, mind, and purpose. When you sleep well, eat clean, move daily, and protect your energy, your focus sharpens naturally. You no longer need to force discipline, it flows from vitality. Productivity becomes smoother because your body and mind are aligned. The tired person cannot focus, the unfed mind cannot create, the unrested body cannot persist. Sustained success requires the full cooperation of your physical and mental systems. To make health a daily priority, schedule it like any important meeting. Set fixed times for sleep, meals, exercise, and rest. Treat them as non-negotiable. Success does not come from occasional bursts of effort, but from consistent routines that preserve energy. Each healthy choice you make strengthens your capacity to perform and recover. Over time, these choices become automatic habits that shape a powerful life. People often seek complex solutions for higher performance, yet the fundamentals remain simple. Sleep deeply, eat wisely, move regularly, breathe calmly, disconnect often. These habits may sound basic, but they are the foundation upon which all productivity is built. Without them, even the most advanced strategies collapse. With them, you can handle greater challenges with ease. The pursuit of success should never cost your well-being. Health is not something you earn after success. It is something that sustains success. When your body feels light, your mind feels clear. When your energy flows freely, your decisions carry confidence. When you honor rest, you sharpen focus. Each of these elements supports the other, creating a cycle of strength and renewal. In the end, health is a discipline of respect for yourself, for your time, and for your purpose. It is a form of wisdom to care for the vessel that carries your ambitions. Prioritize sleep as recovery, nutrition as fuel, exercise as strength, and stillness as restoration. When your body and mind are strong, you no longer chase balance, you embody it. Sustained performance is not about speed or pressure. It is about stability, energy, and endurance. The person who protects their health protects their future. When you treat your body as the foundation of success, it supports you in every pursuit, allowing you to build a life of focus, consistency, and calm power that endures far beyond temporary achievements. Chapter 4. Practice continuous learning to expand skills and improve outcomes. Growth is not a single moment of realization. It's a continuous process of expanding what you know, refining what you can do, and challenging how you think. The people who rise above average results are not necessarily the most talented. They are the ones who never stop learning. They treat every experience as a classroom, every mistake as a teacher, and every success as a reminder that there's always another level to reach. Continuous learning is not about collecting certificates or reading endless books. It's about maintaining a mindset that says, I can always improve. It's the commitment to staying curious, open-minded, and humble enough to admit that you don't know everything. When you stop learning, you stop growing. Life becomes repetitive, and your decisions start to come from outdated thinking. The world around you is always changing, technologies evolve, opportunities shift, and people's needs transform. If your skills and knowledge stay the same, eventually you fall behind. The ones who adapt quickly, learn fast, and stay informed are the ones who thrive in uncertain times. It's not intelligence alone that keeps you ahead, it's adaptability. And adaptability is built on learning. The more you know, the better you think. The better you think, the wiser your actions become. To practice continuous learning, start by changing how you view progress. Learning isn't something you finish after school or a training course, it's something you build into your daily life. You can learn from books, yes, but also from conversations, challenges, and quiet reflection. Ask questions more often. Listen to people who have done what you aspire to do. Watch how they think, how they solve problems, and how they handle pressure. Observe before you assume. Study before you speak. Reflection is a form of learning that many ignore, yet it's often where the deepest lessons live. Every day gives you new data about what worked, what didn't, and what could be better next time. Continuous learners also develop a habit of intentional practice. They don't just repeat tasks, they refine them. They analyze their performance, find small flaws, and adjust. This level of attention creates improvement faster than just doing more of the same. Repetition builds familiarity, but reflection builds mastery. That's why learning never truly happens without effort. You have to be willing to confront your weaknesses instead of hiding from them. It takes humility to admit you don't know enough, but that humility is exactly what allows growth. The ones who believe they already know everything stop improving. The ones who know they can always learn more are the ones who keep advancing. Sometimes, learning doesn't come from success, it comes from discomfort. When things go wrong, when plans fail, or when you feel out of your depth, that's when you grow the most. Mistakes reveal blind spots. Criticism highlights where you can become stronger. Failure teaches resilience, adaptability, and patience. Every lesson in life has a price, but it's always worth paying if you gain wisdom in return. Don't fear being a beginner again. Fear becoming too proud to start over. Every expert was once an amateur who refused to quit learning. To make learning a natural part of your routine, surround yourself with things that challenge you to think differently. Read books that expand your perspective, not just ones that agree with your opinions. Watch or listen to content that teaches you something new. Spend time with people who inspire growth instead of those who complain about life. Seek mentors who push you to go further, and when you find them, listen more than you talk. One powerful mindset shift is to see yourself as both a student and a teacher at the same time. You learn from others, but you also reinforce your understanding by sharing what you know. Teaching is one of the fastest ways to solidify knowledge because it forces you to explain clearly what you've internalized. Learning also requires curiosity, a genuine desire to understand. Instead of saying, "I already know," ask, "What else can I discover?" Instead of avoiding subjects that seem complex, lean into them with patience. Complexity becomes clarity when you stay with it long enough. The people who stay curious never lose energy for growth because curiosity turns learning into joy instead of obligation. They don't see it as a chore, they see it as a privilege. Each new insight adds to their strength, confidence, and ability to handle life's demands with wisdom. Another key part of lifelong learning is adaptability to feedback. Constructive feedback is one of the most valuable learning tools you can receive, yet many people reject it because of ego. They confuse criticism with rejection. But feedback isn't an attack, it's a mirror that shows you what others see. You don't have to agree with all of it, but you should always look for truth in it. People who learn from feedback improve faster than those who avoid it. They use it as a compass for growth, not a judgment of worth. In today's world, information changes rapidly. The skill that matters most is the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn. What worked 10 years ago might not work today, and what works today might not work tomorrow. Continuous learners stay flexible because they value progress over pride. They don't cling to old habits or outdated methods just because they feel comfortable. They evolve with time. That's what keeps them relevant and effective in every stage of life. To sustain this mindset, you must protect your mental energy from negativity and stagnation. Be careful not to spend too much time around people who mock ambition or dismiss growth. They may mean well, but they anchor you to the past. Instead, choose to engage with those who talk about ideas, solutions, and future possibilities. Energy is contagious. If you want to stay driven to learn, surround yourself with minds that stretch your thinking. The greatest reward of continuous learning isn't just knowledge, it's confidence. When you know you can learn anything you need, you stop being afraid of challenges. You stop doubting whether you're capable. You begin to trust yourself more deeply. This inner trust fuels courage, and courage opens doors to better opportunities. Growth stops being something you chase, it becomes something you embody. Every single day offers a chance to learn something new, no matter how small. You can learn patience from a delay, perspective from a disagreement, or gratitude from a quiet moment. When you live with that awareness, every experience becomes valuable. You stop waiting for big lessons and start recognizing that life itself is your classroom. The key is to stay awake, stay aware, and stay humble enough to keep asking, what is this moment teaching me? Continuous learning is not a task to finish, it's a lifelong commitment to becoming better than you were yesterday. It's how you keep your mind sharp, your confidence strong, and your potential limitless. The moment you choose to keep learning, you place yourself among those who never settle, who never stop growing, and who never lose their edge. That choice, made daily and lived consistently, is what turns ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. Chapter 5. Set clear daily goals and measure progress every evening. Clarity is power. Every productive day begins with a clear direction and ends with honest reflection. Without specific goals, time slips away unnoticed, and effort spreads too thin to make a real difference. People often work hard, but not always with focus. That's why days pass in a blur of activity without meaningful progress. Setting clear daily goals is how you give structure to your energy. It turns ordinary time into purposeful momentum. It ensures that what you do each day actually moves you closer to what matters most. Each morning, when you wake up, your mind is like a clean slate. What you write on it determines how the day unfolds. Instead of diving straight into tasks, take a few moments to decide what's truly important. Ask yourself, what must be accomplished today to feel that this day was worthwhile? What small win will make a difference in the bigger picture of my life? When you start your day with intention, you direct your focus instead of letting distractions dictate your hours. A day without clear goals invites chaos. A day with clear goals invites achievement. The key is to keep your goals simple and specific. Vague intentions like be productive or work harder don't give your mind a target to aim for. But if you define your goals in precise terms such as finish the project outline by noon, walk for 30 minutes after lunch, or call 2 clients before evening, you give yourself clear checkpoints to measure against. Specificity builds accountability. It's not about setting dozens of goals, it's about setting a few meaningful ones that align with your priorities. The more precise your daily goals, the easier it becomes to manage your time and energy effectively. Once you have clear goals, break them down into smaller steps. The human mind thrives on progress, but it often gets discouraged by overwhelming tasks. When you divide your goals into manageable parts, you create a sense of momentum. Each completed step gives you satisfaction and keeps motivation alive. You'll find it easier to stay consistent when progress feels visible. Success doesn't come from one massive leap, it comes from the steady rhythm of small wins achieved day after day. Equally important is to protect your focus once your goals are set. Modern life is filled with noise, messages, notifications, interruptions, and endless choices. Every distraction steals a fragment of your mental energy. That's why setting goals is only half the equation. The other half is creating an environment that supports them. Silence unnecessary alerts. Keep your workspace clean. Schedule breaks deliberately instead of reacting impulsively to distractions. When you honor your focus, you multiply your results without increasing your effort. As you go through the day, check in with yourself. Are your actions aligned with your goals, or have you drifted into busy work? This small act of self-awareness prevents wasted time. Even a short pause to recenter can bring your attention back to what truly matters. The people who achieve the most are not the ones who never get distracted. They are the ones who quickly recognize when they've wandered and bring themselves back on track. Awareness restores control. Then, when the day ends, take time to measure your progress honestly. Reflection is the bridge between experience and improvement. It transforms your actions into lessons. Ask yourself, what did I accomplish today? Where did I fall short? What patterns am I noticing? This isn't about judging yourself, it's about understanding yourself. You can't improve what you don't measure, and you can't measure what you never stop to examine. Even 5 minutes of honest reflection can change how you approach the next day. Tracking progress daily gives you proof that your efforts matter. It builds confidence. When you see evidence of a consistent movement, no matter how small, your belief in yourself grows. You start to trust that you can rely on your own discipline. That trust turns into momentum, and momentum turns into results. Measuring progress also helps you notice where you might be wasting time. You begin to identify habits that drain productivity and routines that multiply it. The simple act of review makes you smarter about how you use your days. Another benefit of daily reflection is emotional clarity. When you pause each evening to review your day, you gain perspective. You see not only what you did, but also how you felt doing it. Were you energized or drained, calm or restless, excited or bored? Emotions are indicators that reveal whether your actions align with your deeper values. If you constantly feel tension, perhaps your goals are mismatched with what truly matters to you. If you feel fulfilled, even in hard work, that's a sign you're on the right path. Emotional awareness prevents you from chasing empty achievements that look impressive but feel meaningless. As you build this habit of setting goals and reviewing progress, your discipline strengthens naturally. You no longer depend on random bursts of motivation. You develop a sense of structure that keeps you productive even on ordinary days. Over time, this consistency compounds. What seems like small daily planning today becomes massive progress later. It's like saving time into a mental bank account every day. Of focus adds value to your future. To make this practice even more powerful, write your goals down. Putting them on paper or in a digital planner gives them weight. It shifts them from vague thoughts into visible commitments. Throughout the day, you can glance at your list to remind yourself of what's essential. Writing also clarifies your thinking. It forces you to choose what truly deserves your attention. When you see your goals written out, you can immediately tell which ones matter and which ones are distractions disguised as work. At night, review that same list and mark what you completed. Don't skip this step, even if you didn't accomplish everything. Celebrate the wins, however small, because acknowledgement fuels motivation. Then study the misses. Ask yourself why certain goals weren't achieved. Was it lack of time, poor planning, or low energy? Each answer gives you insight to make tomorrow more effective. Learning from each day is what turns good intentions into steady improvement. Some people resist daily goal setting because they think it adds pressure, but the opposite is true. Structure brings peace of mind. When you know exactly what you need to do, you eliminate confusion. You don't waste time wondering what's next or feeling overwhelmed by options. You move with clarity. Each task becomes a step forward rather than a random effort. Planning your day creates freedom, not restriction, because it gives you control over how your time is spent. With time, this practice shapes not just your schedule but your mindset. You start to live with purpose instead of routine. You begin to see every day as a new opportunity to improve, not just survive. You stop measuring life by how many days you've lived and start measuring it by how much you've grown. Setting goals gives meaning to your effort, and reflecting on progress gives direction to your growth. The most successful people in any field don't rely on luck or talent alone. They rely on systems, clear goals, measured results, and honest evaluation. This habit doesn't require special skills. It requires consistency. Every morning, decide what matters. Every evening, measure what you did. Repeat that rhythm long enough, and you'll notice your life becoming more intentional, your work more effective, and your confidence more grounded. Progress is not accidental. It's designed. When you live each day with clear goals and deliberate reflection, you train your mind to focus, your habits to align, and your results to expand. Each day becomes a brick in the foundation of a stronger, more capable version of yourself. Success, then, is not something distant. It's built quietly, one intentional day at a time. Chapter 6. Manage time ruthlessly and focus on high-value tasks. Time is the most unforgiving resource in existence. It cannot be saved, borrowed, or retrieved once lost. Every second that slips through neglect or distraction is a piece of your life that will never return. Those who achieve extraordinary success understand this truth deeply. They treat time with the seriousness it deserves. They plan, prioritize, and execute with a sense of purpose, because they know time is not infinite. Managing time ruthlessly is not about being rigid or robotic. It's about being intentional, understanding that every minute you waste is a minute taken from your growth, your health, or your happiness. A successful life is built on moments used wisely. When you wake up each morning, you are handed a fixed amount of time, the same 24 hours given to everyone else. What separates the achievers from the average is how they invest that time. Those who reach mastery are selective. They spend time only where it truly matters. They don't try to do everything. They focus on what brings the highest return for their effort. That's the foundation of time mastery, knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. High-value tasks are the activities that push your goals forward, create growth, or generate results that truly matter. They're not always exciting, but they move the needle. In contrast, low-value tasks make you busy without progress. They consume attention and energy, but offer little reward. The difference between a productive day and a wasted one often comes down to how much time you spend on high-value work versus how much you spend reacting to distractions. Success isn't about how much you do, it's about doing what counts most, again and again, without compromise. To identify high-value tasks, you need clarity about your larger purpose. Ask yourself, what are the few actions that bring me closer to my most important goals? Which tasks contribute directly to my growth, income, health, or peace of mind? When you identify those, they must become sacred. Schedule them first, before the world has a chance to interrupt you. The earlier you begin your day with purpose, the less room there is for chaos to take over. Once priorities are clear, you must defend them fiercely. Every request, message, and invitation competes for your attention. If you say yes to everything, you are saying no to the work that matters most. Time management, at its core, is about setting boundaries. It's about learning the strength of a disciplined no. Every time you protect your schedule from unimportant demands, you protect your future. People often feel guilty about refusing requests, but saying no to distractions is saying yes to progress. Ruthless time management requires structure. You can't rely on memory or good intentions to stay organized. You need a system that helps you focus on what matters without getting lost in the noise. One powerful approach is to plan your day in blocks of time dedicated to specific priorities. During each block, you work on one task only, no multitasking, no switching. The mind performs best when it's fully engaged in a single activity. Every time you switch tasks, your brain pays a cognitive cost in focus and energy. Deep work happens when your attention is undivided. To strengthen this habit, start with short periods of intense focus, perhaps 30 or 60 minutes of uninterrupted effort, and gradually extend as your discipline improves. When you work with such deliberate concentration, hours expand. You achieve more in less time because your mental energy isn't scattered. The satisfaction that follows deep, undistracted work is one of the most rewarding experiences in life. It builds confidence, mastery, and peace of mind. Another aspect of managing time ruthlessly is awareness of how easily it slips away in modern life. The world is designed to fragment your attention. Social media, endless emails, and constant notifications create the illusion of productivity while draining your focus. Every scroll, every unnecessary check of your phone divides your concentration into smaller pieces until your energy is too diluted to accomplish anything meaningful. True productivity begins when you take control of your environment. Turn off alerts, close irrelevant tabs, put your phone away when working. Treat your focus like a precious asset, because it is. Beyond eliminating distractions, you must also learn to prioritize tasks by value rather than urgency. Many people confuse being busy with being effective. They fill their days reacting to messages, attending unnecessary meetings, or handling minor issues that could have waited. Meanwhile, their most important work remains undone. High achievers know how to distinguish between what screams for attention and what truly deserves it. They plan their days around significance, not noise. Before starting anything, ask, will this matter a week from now, a year from now? If not, it may not be worth your time today. Another key to mastering time is preparation. Time is wasted most often not through laziness, but through lack of readiness. Each minute spent planning saves hours of confusion later. Take time in the evening to plan your next day. Review your priorities and schedule specific blocks for each major task. This small act of foresight transforms chaos into order. When you wake up with a plan, you don't drift. You act. You remove hesitation and decision fatigue. The day unfolds with clarity instead of guesswork. Still, even the best plans require flexibility. Life is unpredictable. Things go wrong. The disciplined person adapts quickly without losing direction. When plans are disrupted, they don't collapse, they reorganize. They know that flexibility is part of control. Managing time ruthlessly isn't about controlling every second. It's about making sure every second serves a purpose, even when things shift unexpectedly. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to start seeing time as an investment, not as something to be spent. When you invest time in learning, health, relationships, or building your craft, the return compounds over years. When you waste it on trivialities, you get nothing back. The rich invest money, the wise invest time. Every decision you make either multiplies or depletes your future. Treat your hours as if they were gold because they are worth far more. To reinforce this mindset, review your days and weeks regularly. Track how you spend your hours and analyze what activities brought genuine value. You'll quickly see patterns: how much time you spend reacting versus creating, how much goes to priorities versus distractions. Awareness is the foundation of change. Once you see where your time truly goes, you can make better choices. Improvement starts with honest observation. Rest also plays a part in effective time management. Productivity doesn't mean constant activity. It means balanced energy. A rested mind makes better decisions and works faster. Overworking leads to burnout, which steals more time in the long run. Schedule breaks deliberately, not as escapes but as renewals. Use rest to sharpen your focus, not to indulge in endless distractions. True discipline includes knowing when to stop. The people who master time also master their emotions. They don't let frustration, boredom, or impulsive desires dictate their actions. They understand that emotions, like time, must be managed with intention. A moment of anger or distraction can destroy an hour of productivity. By maintaining emotional stability, you protect the quality of your decisions and the efficiency of your work. Calmness conserves time. Chaos consumes it. Managing time ruthlessly is a form of self-respect. It means you value your life enough not to waste it. Every minute you direct with purpose is a statement that you are in control, not the world around you. This control builds confidence and peace. You no longer feel rushed or overwhelmed because you know exactly what deserves your energy and what doesn't. You work when it's time to work, rest when it's time to rest, and live each day with clarity. In the end, the secret to effective time management isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most with full attention and discipline. It's understanding that every yes carries a hidden no. Every distraction comes with a cost. Every day offers a chance to move forward or to stay still. The wise choose progress, even if it means fewer tasks, slower pace, or uncomfortable decisions. Because what matters is not how much you do, but how deeply your actions align with your purpose. When you begin to manage time ruthlessly and focus only on high-value tasks, your life transforms. You achieve more with less stress. You gain a sense of control that few experience. You stop chasing urgency and start creating significance. And as the days turn into years, that discipline compounds into mastery. The truth is simple. Your future is built out of how you spend your time today. Protect it, direct it, and make it count. Chapter 7. Develop resilience to embrace challenges, learn fast and persist. Life tests everyone. It doesn't ask for permission before throwing obstacles in your path. Nor does it wait for you to be ready. The world can be unpredictable, and no one is spared from moments of hardship, disappointment, or failure. But what separates those who rise from those who crumble is resilience. The quiet strength to face difficulties, learn from them, and keep moving forward no matter what. Resilience is not about being unbreakable. It's about being able to bend without collapsing, to fall and still get back up stronger than before. It is the foundation of all long-term success, because life will always test your endurance before it rewards your effort. Resilience begins with acceptance. Many people waste energy fighting reality, wishing challenges were easier, wishing people were kinder, or wishing circumstances were different. But wishing doesn't change the truth. What it does is drain your strength. The resilient person accepts life as it is, not as they wish it to be. They don't deny pain or difficulty, they face it with clarity. This acceptance gives them power because you can only change what you're willing to confront. Resilience grows when you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" That single shift in mindset transforms every setback into a lesson instead of a loss. Every challenge you face contains two possibilities. It can weaken you, or it can shape you. Which path you take depends entirely on your response. Difficult situations reveal character. They expose the strength you've built when no one was watching. When you respond with courage, patience, and a desire to learn, pain becomes a teacher. Over time, the very struggles you once resisted become the source of your greatest wisdom. People who endure tough experiences often develop deeper empathy, sharper judgment, and stronger emotional control. Resilience is forged in the fire of adversity. It's not inherited, it's built. To develop resilience, you must change how you interpret struggle. Most people see problems as signs of failure, but resilient individuals see them as part of growth. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you invite discomfort, uncertainty, and risk. But that's also where learning happens. The most skilled people in any field didn't reach excellence by avoiding mistakes, they learned by failing intelligently. They analyzed what went wrong, adjusted their approach, and tried again. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's a necessary stage of it. If you treat every mistake as feedback rather than defeat, you accelerate your growth. Resilience also depends on how you manage your emotions during hardship. When things go wrong, your first reaction often determines the outcome. Fear, anger, or frustration can cloud your judgment and make you give up too soon. But if you stay calm and centered, even in chaos, you can think clearly. You can find solutions that panic would have hidden. Emotional control doesn't mean suppressing feelings. It means allowing emotions to move through you without letting them dictate your behavior. The resilient person feels everything deeply, but responds with discipline. They've trained themselves to pause, breathe, and act from reason, not reaction. Another pillar of resilience is adaptability. The world changes constantly. Technologies evolve, industries shift, and personal circumstances can transform overnight. Those who cling too tightly to old ways of thinking or outdated habits struggle to keep up. Resilient people stay flexible. They don't panic when plans fall apart. They adjust and move forward. Adaptability is a form of strength. It's the ability to evolve without losing direction. When you accept change as part of life, you stop fearing it. You begin to see it as an opportunity to grow into a better version of yourself. Resilience also grows from routine small victories. Each time you push through discomfort, you build mental endurance. When you exercise discipline, keep promises to yourself, or persist through a difficult project, you're strengthening the part of you that doesn't quit. These small acts accumulate into unshakable confidence. You start to believe, not theoretically but through experience, that you can handle more than you once thought possible. That belief is what sustains you during major challenges. True confidence doesn't come from avoiding hardship. It comes from overcoming it repeatedly until it no longer scares you. Learning fast is another critical aspect of resilience. When life knocks you down, the faster you extract the lesson, the quicker you recover. Reflect on what went wrong, identify what you could do differently, and apply it immediately. Don't waste time dwelling on guilt or regret. They serve no purpose beyond awareness. Every mistake carries information. The faster you learn, the faster you adapt. This mindset keeps you from getting stuck in frustration. It transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Resilient people don't see setbacks as permanent. They see them as temporary detours that sharpen their skills. Persistence is where resilience proves its worth. Anyone can stay motivated when things are easy. But persistence is tested when progress feels slow, when results don't match effort, or when the world seems indifferent. That's when most people stop. The resilient keep going, not blindly, but with patience and steady faith. They understand that success often takes longer than expected. They don't measure progress by speed, but by consistency. Persistence is not about stubbornness. It's about disciplined endurance, the quiet decision to keep showing up, improving, and believing in the process, even when nothing seems to work. Resilience also requires self-compassion. Harsh self-criticism weakens your spirit. When you fail or fall short, treat yourself with understanding. Acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, but don't tear yourself apart. You cannot rebuild strength from self-hate. Forgive yourself quickly, but not carelessly. Use kindness as a tool for recovery. Resilient people talk to themselves the way a good coach would talk to a player, firm, honest, but always encouraging. Self-compassion keeps your energy alive for the long journey ahead. Surrounding yourself with supportive people is another way to maintain resilience. No one is meant to face life's battles alone. Connection provides perspective, encouragement, and emotional relief. When you open up to people you trust, challenges become lighter. Sharing your struggles doesn't make you weak, it reminds you that you're human. The strongest individuals are those who know when to ask for help and when to offer it. Relationships built on honesty and mutual respect create a safety net that helps you bounce back faster from adversity. Resilience isn't about never feeling pain, it's about not letting pain define you. You can experience exhaustion, sadness, or doubt, and still choose to move forward. Each time you overcome something that once seemed impossible, your character deepens. You begin to carry yourself differently, not with arrogance, but with calm confidence. You stop fearing life's storms because you've walked through enough of them to know you can survive. That inner strength becomes your quiet power. Building resilience also means maintaining perspective. Most problems feel unbearable in the moment, but fade in significance with time. When you remind yourself that everything passes, both joy and sorrow, you free yourself from panic. You learn to endure the bad without losing appreciation for the good. Perspective allows you to see challenges as part of a larger story, not the end of it. Every experience, pleasant or painful, contributes to your growth if you let it. Resilience transforms the way you see yourself. You no longer identify as someone at the mercy of circumstances, but as someone capable of navigating them. You stop expecting life to be easy and start preparing yourself to be strong. That shift changes everything. It gives you power, stability, and peace. Life becomes less about avoiding pain and more about mastering it. You start to welcome challenges because you know each one makes you wiser, tougher, and more capable. In the end, resilience is the art of enduring with purpose. It's the quiet confidence that you can handle whatever comes, not because life is predictable, but because you trust your own adaptability. It's the ability to fall, learn, and rise again faster, stronger, and wiser each time. Resilience doesn't promise an easy life, but it guarantees a meaningful one. Every challenge you face becomes a chapter in your strength. Every lesson you learn builds your wisdom. Every time you persist, you prove to yourself that nothing can stop a determined mind. Chapter 8. Build strong relationships by giving value and listening actively. Every meaningful success in life is built on the foundation of relationships. No one rises alone, and no achievement feels complete without genuine connection. The quality of your relationships determines the quality of your life. But strong relationships are not built by chance, they are built by choice. They grow through intention, understanding, and the consistent effort to give more than you take. The secret is simple. People are drawn to those who make them feel valued, understood, and respected. When you learn to give value and listen with depth, you stop chasing connections and start creating them naturally. True connection begins with presence. In today's world, everyone wants to be heard, but few are willing to truly listen. Most people hear just enough to respond, not to understand. But when you give someone your full attention, when you listen without interrupting or judging, you do something rare, you make them feel seen. Active listening isn't passive, it's a deliberate act of respect. It requires putting aside your own opinions for a moment and focusing completely on the other person's words, tone, and emotion. When someone feels understood, they begin to trust you. Trust is the foundation of every strong relationship, and listening is how you build it. Giving value to others doesn't mean trying to impress them with what you have or know. It means offering something that makes their life better, even in small ways. Sometimes that value comes through encouragement, sometimes through honesty, sometimes through practical help. The key is to focus on what they need, not what you want to gain. When you approach relationships with the intention to contribute rather than compete, people naturally gravitate toward you. The moment you stop asking, "What can I get?" and start asking, "What can I give?" everything changes. You stop building temporary connections and start forming lasting bonds. Strong relationships grow when both sides feel appreciated. Most conflicts or disconnections begin when people feel taken for granted. Appreciation doesn't require grand gestures, it's built through consistent acknowledgement. Saying thank you sincerely, remembering what matters to someone, noticing their effort, or simply checking in without a reason can strengthen bonds more than any gift ever could. When people know you value them, they give you the best of themselves. Relationships thrive in an atmosphere of gratitude. Communication is the bridge that keeps any relationship alive. But real communication goes beyond talking. It's about understanding and empathy. It's about expressing your truth with respect and listening to others with openness. Too often, people talk to be right instead of talking to be clear. The purpose of communication is not to win, but to connect. When you speak with kindness and listen with curiosity, you create space for honesty. That's where understanding grows. Misunderstandings are inevitable, but when both sides are willing to listen instead of defend, even conflict becomes an opportunity for deeper connection. Empathy is the heart of strong relationships. It means stepping out of your own perspective and into someone else's world. It's not about agreeing with everything they say, it's about caring enough to see things from their point of view. Empathy softens judgment. It replaces assumptions with understanding. When you respond to others with empathy instead of criticism, you make them feel safe to be themselves. That safety is rare and deeply valued. People remember how you make them feel long after they forget what you said. To build strong relationships, you must also practice honesty, both with yourself and others. Genuine relationships cannot grow on half-truths or pretense. Being authentic doesn't mean being harsh. It means being real in a way that respects both yourself and others. When you speak truthfully, you attract people who value integrity. You don't need to pretend to be perfect to be accepted. In fact, vulnerability often strengthens relationships because it invites trust. When you're open about your struggles and emotions, you remind others that it's okay to be human. That shared honesty creates connection at a level that surface charm never can. Another powerful way to give value is through encouragement. Everyone is fighting silent battles, and a few genuine words can change someone's entire outlook. Encouragement costs nothing but means everything. When you see potential in someone and tell them so, you give them confidence to keep going. When you believe in people before they believe in themselves, you become a source of light in their life. The people who lift others naturally become surrounded by loyalty, because positivity and support are magnets for strong bonds. Listening actively also means hearing what's not being said. Pay attention to body language, tone, and small details. Sometimes, silence says more than words. When you learn to listen between the lines, you start understanding what people truly feel, not just what they express. This kind of awareness deepens relationships because it shows that you care enough to notice the subtleties. Emotional sensitivity is not weakness, it's emotional intelligence, and it's one of the greatest strengths a person can develop. Strong relationships also require boundaries. Giving value doesn't mean allowing others to take advantage of your kindness. Healthy boundaries protect respect on both sides. When you know where you stand, you teach others how to treat you. Boundaries are not walls, they are guidelines for mutual respect. They keep relationships balanced and prevent resentment. People appreciate clarity more than endless tolerance because it shows strength and self-respect. A relationship without boundaries loses direction. One with clear boundaries gains trust and stability. Consistency is another key to building lasting connections. Anyone can be kind once, but trust is built through repeated reliability. When your actions match your words over time, people know they can depend on you. Showing up, following through, and keeping promises, these simple habits build credibility. Relationships break when words and actions don't align, but when you are consistent in your behavior, others feel safe investing their trust in you. One of the deepest forms of giving value is simply being present. In a world full of distraction, presence is a rare gift. When you give someone your undivided attention, you communicate that they matter. You can't build strong connections through divided focus. People sense when you're just waiting for your turn to speak. True presence means being fully there, not thinking about what to say next, not checking your phone, not rushing for the moment. Presence builds intimacy, and intimacy builds loyalty. Another essential part of strong relationships is humility. No one enjoys being around someone who always needs to be right or who never admits mistakes. Humility doesn't mean lowering yourself. It means valuing others enough to listen, learn, and grow. It allows space for forgiveness and understanding. When you can apologize sincerely, when you can admit that you don't know everything, you become more relatable and respected. People connect with authenticity, not arrogance. To build meaningful relationships, focus on the long-term value you bring to others' lives. Be the person who uplifts, supports, and inspires growth. Whether it's offering guidance, sharing knowledge, or simply being a good listener, your consistency in giving value will set you apart. Relationships are not built through grand gestures, but through everyday moments of genuine care. The strength of a bond is not measured by how often you speak, but by how deeply you understand and support each other. And finally, remember that every relationship you build is a reflection of how you treat yourself. The more you value your own worth, the more you'll recognize and appreciate it in others. Self-respect attracts respectful people. The kindness you show yourself becomes the standard for how you connect with the world. When you come from a place of inner balance, you naturally create relationships that are nurturing, empowering, and authentic. Building strong relationships is an art that requires awareness, generosity, and patience. It's not about popularity or convenience, it's about real connection. When you give value without expectation and listen with genuine interest, you create bonds that stand the test of time. People remember how you made them feel respected, supported, and heard. That is how trust is built, how loyalty is earned, and how relationships become not just part of your success, but the most meaningful part of your life. Chapter 9. Automate habits and create systems that simplify daily work. The difference between people who succeed steadily and those who struggle endlessly often lies in their systems. Success is not the result of random bursts of motivation or scattered effort. It is built on predictable habits that operate automatically. When your daily actions become effortless patterns aligned with your goals, you no longer depend on willpower alone. You create a structure that moves you forward even when you don't feel like it. The key to sustainable growth is automation, the process of turning deliberate effort into natural rhythm. Every small routine you systemize saves mental energy, reduces friction, and ensures that progress becomes a part of your identity, not just an occasional event. The truth is that discipline is not about constant struggle. It's about designing your environment so that the right choice becomes the easy one. People waste enormous amounts of time trying to stay motivated when what they really need are habits that work without thought. A system frees you from relying on emotion. It doesn't care whether you're tired or inspired, it just functions. Think of it as a structure that carries your effort for you. Once built, It allows you to move forward consistently while conserving mental strength for creative and meaningful work. Automation begins with clarity. You must first identify which behaviors create real results in your life. Most people are busy but not productive because they haven't separated high-value habits from low-value activity. Once you identify the few actions that truly drive growth, your goal is to make those behaviors automatic. For example, if reading for 20 minutes each morning expands your knowledge, attach it to an existing routine like drinking your coffee. If exercising improves your focus, schedule it at the same time every day. The power of automation comes from repetition. In a fixed context, it removes decision fatigue and makes excellence a habit instead of a choice. To build an effective system, start small but stay consistent. The biggest mistake people make is trying to overhaul their entire life at once. True automation begins with one habit at a time. Repetition creates permanence, not intensity. It's better to build one habit that lasts a lifetime than 5 that fade in a week. Choose one area of your life, health, work, mindset, and identify a single habit that would make the biggest difference. Practice it daily until it feels incomplete not to do it. That's when you know it has become automatic. Simplifying daily work means removing unnecessary complexity. Many people mistake busyness for productivity. They create complicated to-do lists, constantly switch tasks, and chase multiple goals at once. But complexity drains energy. Systems thrive on simplicity. When you design your day with clear routines and minimal distractions, your mind operates more efficiently. Start your morning with defined steps, group similar tasks together, and end your day by preparing for the next. A structured rhythm eliminates chaos and brings calm focus. The simpler your process, the stronger your output. Another powerful aspect of automation is environmental design. Your surroundings either support your habits or sabotage them. If you want to make healthy eating automatic, fill your kitchen with nutritious food and remove junk from sight. If you want to focus deeply, organize your workspace and eliminate clutter. Environment shapes behavior more than willpower ever can. People often underestimate how small changes in their surroundings can completely alter their results. When your environment aligns with your goals, good behavior becomes natural, not forced. Technology can also be used as an ally in building systems. Automate reminders, set calendar routines, use tools that track progress, or eliminate repetitive work. The less you leave to memory or chance, the more consistent you become. Success is not about doing more, it's about designing a process that handles the ordinary so you can focus on the extraordinary. When routine tasks are managed by systems, your time and energy are freed for strategy, creativity, and growth. The goal of automating habits is not to become rigid, but to create freedom. Paradoxically, the more structured your systems, the more flexibility you gain. When the basics of your life, health routines, work organization, learning habits run smoothly without conscious effort, you have space to think clearly and make better decisions. Chaos steals time through constant adjustment. Structure gives it back through stability. A predictable foundation allows you to handle unexpected events with calm instead of stress. Automation also protects you from emotional ups and downs. Everyone faces days of fatigue, discouragement, or distraction. Without a system, those days derail progress. But when your habits are automated, you keep moving even when your motivation wavers. It's like setting a steady pace that carries you forward through all conditions. You don't have to feel inspired every day, you just have to trust your system. Over time, this reliability compounds into remarkable results. A key part of building systems is regular review. Automation doesn't mean ignoring reflection. It means building feedback into your process. Every few weeks, evaluate what's working and what's not. Systems should evolve as your goals grow. Sometimes, habits that once helped can later limit you if they no longer align with your priorities. Adjusting your system keeps it alive and effective. The best systems are flexible enough to adapt while remaining consistent in their core. Another powerful approach is habit stacking, linking a new habit to an existing one. This technique leverages momentum. If you already brush your teeth every morning, add a short breathing exercise right after. If you check your calendar at work each morning, review your top priorities immediately afterward. By attaching new actions to established behaviors, you build reliability without resistance. Over time, these chains of habits form the architecture of success. Eliminating decision fatigue is another benefit of automation. Every choice you make consumes mental energy. The more decisions you automate, the more focus you preserve for creative and strategic thinking. This is why many high performers wear the same style of clothing daily or follow identical morning routines. It's not monotony, it's efficiency. Their mental energy is reserved for what truly matters. Simplifying the small choices in your life frees the mind to operate at a higher level. Automation also builds momentum, and momentum is the silent force behind progress. When good habits run automatically, each one reinforces the next. You begin to trust yourself more, your confidence rises, and you develop a sense of flow. Instead of forcing progress, you start experiencing it as a natural outcome of your system. This quiet power is what separates those who grow steadily from those who stop and start repeatedly. One of the most effective ways to simplify your day is through grouping similar tasks together to minimize switching. For instance, check emails only twice a day instead of constantly. Handle phone calls in a single window. Prepare meals in batches for several days. This approach reduces mental load and increases focus. The fewer transitions your brain has to make, the more energy it preserves for important work. Delegation is also part of creating efficient systems. You don't need to do everything yourself to be productive. Identify tasks that can be handled by others or automated through tools. Delegating is not a weakness, it's a recognition of value. Your time should be spent where it has the most impact. Systems work best when they include both automation and delegation, freeing you from repetitive tasks so you can operate in your zone of strength. Another overlooked aspect of system building is rest. Automation should not just apply to work but also to recovery. Schedule downtime, digital breaks, and moments of reflection. A balanced system includes both action and renewal. Without rest, even the best habits lead to burnout. When recovery becomes part of your system, you sustain energy effortlessly over the long term. Over time, your systems begin to define your results. People often search for success strategies when what they need are consistent frameworks. A strong system transforms chaos into clarity. It doesn't require constant motivation because it runs by design. Every automated habit becomes a small investment that pays dividends in focus, time, and energy. The secret is to start small, stay consistent, and build structures that carry your effort forward without constant supervision. The ultimate purpose of automating habits and simplifying your work is mastery. Mastery over time, energy, and consistency. When your life runs on well-designed systems, you gain control over what once felt overwhelming. You begin to achieve more with less effort because you've removed the friction that drains progress. The person who masters systems becomes unstoppable not because they work harder, but because they work smarter, with clarity, rhythm, and precision. Your future success depends less on how much you can push yourself and more on how well you can design your life to run smoothly. Every system you build today becomes a silent engine that moves you closer to your goals tomorrow. Automation is not just about efficiency, it's about freedom, stability, and long-term growth. When your habits work for you instead of against you, you no longer chase success. You create it every single day through the quiet power of systems that never stop working, even when you rest. Chapter 10. Commit to consistent action for long-term measurable growth. The foundation of all lasting success is consistent action. Every dream, every transformation, and every achievement is built on the quiet persistence of daily effort. Success is not a single event, it is the gradual accumulation of small, deliberate steps taken with purpose. Anyone can start, but only those who stay consistent finish strong. The difference between temporary progress and lifelong growth lies in the ability to keep showing up long after the excitement fades. It's not about intensity for a few days, it's about endurance for a lifetime. Consistency is not glamorous. It often feels ordinary, repetitive, and slow. That's why so few people master it. They confuse progress with novelty, constantly seeking new strategies instead of refining what already works. But mastery requires repetition. It's the steady rhythm of effort that builds strength, skill, and confidence. When you commit to consistent action, you build habits that carry you forward even when motivation is low. You learn to trust the process instead of chasing quick rewards. Over time, those small, consistent efforts compound into results that seem impossible to those who quit early. The first step toward consistent action is understanding that growth takes time. In a world obsessed with speed, patience becomes a competitive advantage. Nothing meaningful happens overnight. Trees don't grow by stretching, they grow by deepening their roots and reaching upward inch by inch. The same is true for personal growth. Each day of focused effort strengthens your foundation. Progress often hides in the quiet moments of persistence, where it feels like nothing is happening. But those unseen days are where real transformation begins. Every time you act with consistency, you're building momentum that compounds silently beneath the surface. Long-term growth demands discipline, not just desire. Motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you moving when the initial excitement disappears. There will be days when everything feels heavy, when progress seems invisible, and when quitting looks tempting. But those are the days that shape your character. Each time you follow through despite resistance, you strengthen your ability to persist. Discipline is not punishment, it is self-respect in motion. It's the act of honoring your goals, even when no one else is watching. When you live with discipline, your actions align with your intentions, and your life moves steadily toward what you truly value. Consistency also requires focus. You can't grow in every direction at once. Spreading your energy too thin creates movement without progress. The key is to commit deeply to a few essential actions that drive real results. Identify the behaviors that matter most, then repeat them relentlessly. Whether it's improving a skill, building a business, or maintaining your health, the principle is the same: depth creates excellence. When you narrow your focus, you eliminate distractions and accelerate progress. Every consistent action, when repeated with clarity, becomes a building block for long-term growth. One of the greatest challenges of consistency is dealing with slow results. Human nature craves immediate feedback, but real success doesn't work that way. There will be stretches of effort where you see little to no visible progress. Those periods test your belief in yourself. Many give up during these phases, assuming they've failed, when in truth they were just inches away from breakthrough. Growth is often invisible until it becomes undeniable. You may not see the change day by day, but one morning, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. The reward for consistency is cumulative. It grows silently until it becomes unstoppable. To stay consistent, you must create systems that make action inevitable. Relying on emotion or motivation will always fail because feelings fluctuate. Systems make behavior predictable. When you schedule your priorities, instead of prioritizing your schedule, you take control of your day. Treat your daily actions like non-negotiable appointments with your future self. Even small acts, done regularly, are more powerful than occasional bursts of effort. Consistency thrives on structure. Structure turns intentions into habits. It's also important to track your progress. What gets measured improves. When you document your actions and reflect on them regularly, you create accountability and awareness. This reflection helps you see growth that might otherwise go unnoticed. Measuring progress isn't about perfection, it's about direction. Even slight improvement over time becomes significant when compounded. A daily journal, a habit tracker, or a progress log can serve as a mirror to your discipline. It reminds you that even small steps, taken consistently, lead somewhere meaningful. Another vital element of long-term growth is adaptability. Consistency does not mean rigidity. It means being committed to your goal while flexible in your methods. Life will present obstacles, unexpected events, fatigue, change in circumstances. What matters is your ability to adjust without losing momentum. The most successful people remain steady in purpose but adaptable in strategy. They don't give up when the plan fails. They refine it. Consistency combined with adaptability creates resilience. It allows you to stay in motion no matter what challenges arise. Consistency also requires self-compassion. You will make mistakes, you will miss days, face setbacks, and experience failure. The key is not to let those moments define you. Progress is not about being perfect, it's about returning quickly to your path after every detour. Forgive yourself fast, learn from the mistake, and continue forward. The person who refuses to give up, even after failing, always moves farther than the one who demands perfection. Growth is not linear, it's built through persistence across imperfection. One of the most practical ways to stay consistent is to anchor your effort to a purpose larger than yourself. When your reason is clear, your endurance strengthens. Purpose transforms effort into meaning. It turns discipline into devotion. When you know why you're doing something, repetition becomes rewarding rather than exhausting. Whether your purpose is to provide for your family, to master your craft, or to contribute to something greater than yourself, that deeper reason fuels consistency when enthusiasm fades. Building long-term growth also requires learning to find joy in the process, not just the outcome. Most people fail to stay consistent because they attach all satisfaction to the result. But success is found in the daily effort itself. It's in knowing you gave your best today, even in small ways. When you learn to appreciate the process, you no longer feel like you're waiting for happiness, you're living it through every act of progress. The journey becomes its own reward, and that perspective keeps your motivation alive for years, not just weeks. To commit to consistent action, you must also remove distractions that break your rhythm. Every time you stop and restart, you lose momentum. Simplify your environment, protect your time, and guard your focus. The fewer interruptions you allow, the smoother your progress becomes. Treat your attention like currency. It's the most valuable resource you have. Spend it on actions that move you forward, not on noise that keeps you stagnant. When you align your focus with your goals, consistency feels natural, not forced. Consistency is not only about external achievement, it's about internal transformation. Each day of disciplined action shapes your character. You become more patient, more confident, more capable of handling life's uncertainties. Growth is not just what you gain, it's who you become in the process. The person you are today is a reflection of your repeated choices. The person you will become depends on the choices you make consistently from now on. Every action is a vote for the kind of future you desire. Long-term growth is built on trust, the trust you place in your own effort. When you keep promises to yourself, you develop self-respect. Each completed task strengthens your belief that you are capable of following through. Over time, this builds an unshakable sense of confidence. You stop doubting whether you can achieve something because you've proven, day after day, that you will take the necessary steps. Confidence is not built by grand victories, it's built by consistent follow-through. The secret to sustainable success is realizing that consistency compounds. One day of action may seem insignificant, but 1,000 days of steady effort creates transformation. When you commit fully to your path, time becomes your ally. Each day adds to your momentum, and what once felt impossible becomes inevitable. The process rewards those who stay long enough to see it through. Ultimately, committing to consistent action is about becoming the kind of person who honors progress more than perfection. It's about choosing the steady climb over the easy shortcut. It's about realizing that greatness isn't found in bursts of effort, it's found in daily discipline. When you show up every day, even in small ways, you build a life that grows in strength, stability, and significance. Consistency is how you turn ambition into achievement, ideas into reality, and dreams into a measurable legacy. The journey may be long, but it's worth every step, because one day, when you look back, you'll realize that the life you built wasn't shaped by luck or chance. It was created by the quiet, unbreakable power of your consistent action.